new book is coming out from
Yes.
Jake Tapper and Alex
Mm.
Thompson
Mm-hmm.
about President Joe Biden's decline. And I guess the book,
Yeah.
what is it called? Is it called Original Sin? Is
Oh yeah, it was
that what it's
real
called?
extra. It was real dramatic.
That's a really interesting title. Let's
Uh-huh.
listen to a clip of Jake Tapper talking about Biden's decline. Listen to this.
Curious as to whether or not this kind of trying to hide what was happening with the president at the time had an impact on the press corps. Like, why didn't we hear some of these details from what they actually saw and were dealing with trying to get information?
Well, Alex Thompson and I were on the case, as were lots of other reporters, trying to figure out what was going on behind the scenes. But the bottom line is the White House was lying, not only to the press, not only to the public, but they were lying to members of their own cabinet. They were lying to White House staffers. They were lying to Democratic members of Congress, to donors about how bad things had gotten. And in fact, Alex and I started writing this book after the election of 2024. And we spoke with more than 200 people, most of whom, almost all of whom, were Democrats, and almost all of whom wouldn't be honest with us or wouldn't be candid with us until after the election. And then after the election, we found out all of these things that when you looked at what was going on with President Biden at the time, it probably doesn't surprise you the extent to which he was deteriorating. But now we have anecdotes and facts about what was really going on behind the scenes.
And facts. Okay. So let me say this. I cannot stand when books come out about the mess of the previous presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And all these people sat on it and they don't
Mm.
say anything until their book release date.
That's
Whether it's Jake Tapper or Bob Woodward,
mm-hmm.
I can't stand it.
Yeah.
It always pisses me off. Now, Jake Tapper is saying that he wrote this book after the election. Mind you, that's an expedited book deal because normally you write a book like you get the deal a year and a half in advance sometimes. So you got the deal in November 2024. The comes out in May. I need to know who your publisher is, Jake Tapper.
All right.
But I can't stand that. It really, really pisses me off when people do these aftermath books. I don't care who it is. I
Yeah.
was Bob Woodward had all these tapes with Trump saying all this stuff. If
He
the
did.
republic is in danger, why wouldn't you release that shit when you heard the crazy shit being said?
Right.
So for all the staffers who spoke anonymously, the 200 staffers and so on, if y'all thought it was that bad, y'all should have said something. So there's that. The other side of it is that this cognitive decline, if he was in this massive decline, he did a pretty good job. He's doing a
Right.
better job than the guy who isn't in decline. I mean, we're
Okay.
talking about historic climate action. We're talking about over 13 million jobs added. We're talking about the PAC Act for veterans and their survivors, the strongest economic recovery in the G7. We're talking about cleaning up the mess that Trump left, the
Mm.
economic and healthcare mess that Trump left, the most significant gun laws passed in decades, the PAVE Action Plan, HBCU security bill. I'm not saying he was perfect, but he
Right.
did a pretty damn good job and left Trump with a good economy. So there's that. And now I see Republicans babbling, this is the biggest scandal in modern American history.
What?
Bigger than Watergate? Bigger than an intern in the 1990s? Bigger than an insurrection?
Right. For
Like,
being
okay,
convicted of 34, 35 felonies and being
really?
elected. Okay.
And the other strange thing, if this is true, it's true, and they should have said something. But after that horrible debate that Biden had, I remember this. He gave a speech in North Carolina, and he was
Mm-hmm.
sharp, and he was really good at the State of the Union.
He was
You know,
really good at
so
saving me. Yeah, he
it was
was.
great. So listen, I don't know his health status. I don't know anything like that, but he's denying it. Obviously, he's slower. He has
Mm-hmm.
a stutter. We all know that. There was one point they were saying that they were thinking about putting him in a wheelchair. Don't know how true that is, but I
Well,
mean,
what they said
if
about the wheelchair was if he fell, then he
if he
would
fell,
potentially need a wheel. It's multiple hypotheticals in that. That wasn't like
Right.
he was already to that point. He ain't walking around in a wheelchair right now.
Exactly. And even when he was on The View, again, is he? I mean, he's in it. And to be quite frank, Trump as well isn't as sharp as he used to be back in 2016. These are grown, these are older people. They're older people. So if there was a cover up and lying, those Democrats should have been saying that shit early on.
True.
If the Republic is in danger. So these like salacious National Enquirer tabloid books, it just kind of annoys me because I don't, and regardless, Democrat or Republican, it just pisses me off. And now the story is we're in 2025. Did Biden have the country in crisis? Kamala Harris knew what was going on, and Barack Obama knew what was going on, and they all. I mean, I met the guy. He seemed fine. Maybe he was having a good day. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, so here we go. The latest story. And the callers that I got, Reese, on these airwaves, they didn't want Biden to drop out. I remember hearing that. He shouldn't drop out.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
I don't know. I mean, this is what happens, the autopsy after an election loss, but it's not the biggest scandal.
No, it's not. No, it's not a scandal.
I don't think the country was at risk. And with that, I know some folks want to act like he didn't. Biden did a pretty good job cleaning up Donald Trump's mess.
He did. He definitely
But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think, Reese?
Well, first of all, it was very shocking to hear Jake Tapper say lying. Are you talking about the president of the United States that we currently have right now in that manner? Because I remember it was a whole thing where they didn't want to use the word lies when it came to Trump. But listen, what kind of big scandal is this? I saw Joe Biden multiple times, and I was like, "Oh, Joe Biden getting old." I was like, "Oh, Joe getting a little slow. Oh, Joe, he's stumbling over his words a little bit." It was obvious to anybody that could see that he was aging. So I don't know how this was some big fucking mystery. Just if you looked at the man, you could see he was old. Period. He was not good. He was not hiding it. That was hiding it in the chair. I don't know what. That's you would be losing that hide and seek. Okay. So I don't think it was a big mystery that he was old and he was aged and that he was slowing down. Okay. So I think that it's much ado about nothing. Was the country in crisis? No. We saw how the country did. If it was him, a shadow president, whatever, they was doing a good fucking job. Okay. Because right now we got Pete Hegseth in there fucking shit up. We got Sean Duffy, whose own wife won't even fly into Newark. Okay. Because it's such a shit show with what they're doing with the airports and the FAA. So we can contrast what functioning governance looks like, what a functioning executive looks like, compared to what we have right now. So that's not a hypothetical, all right? So I would take Joe Biden old ass country over Donald Trump's also old ass country. So I just think it's just one of those things where people are trying to make a buck. Why didn't you say nothing? Because you were saving it for your book. That's why. That's what everybody was saving it for their book. Everybody was gonna write the book. Jake Tapper got his out faster. Who cares? We got real shit going on right now. Okay, we ain't gonna be voting for Joe Biden in another election, so it really don't matter. Okay, he ain't gonna be the anchor in the track team. We don't need him to run no motherfucking races physically, mentally, nothing. He gonna sit his old ass down somewhere. He gonna do some speeches, travel some, have a good time. Good for him. Maybe he'll take up painting like George W. Bush did. It really doesn't matter anymore. So I don't really care. And it's really just a distraction, and it's a welcome distraction for Republicans who right now are cutting SNAP benefits, who are cutting Medicare, who are cutting all kinds of benefits from us so that they can give billionaires tax cuts. That's the conversation I'm interested in having. Not whether or not if what's his name, if Joe Biden fell, he might have needed a wheelchair. He didn't fall. He wasn't in the wheelchair when he left office, and he's not in the wheelchair now. So who gives a damn about what somebody's hypothetical assessment was? It's just stupid. It's a dumb thing. But this is what the media likes to do because they want to try to draw some kind of false equivalency. They want to try to make it seem like, well, the Democrats is corrupt. The Democrats got their shit with them too. I will take that baggage over what we're experiencing every single day in this country right now. I will take it 10 times over what we're experiencing right now. There's no equivalence. There's no, we'll see, tit for tat, nothing. What happened with Joe was old when he won. Joe was old when he left office.
And he won the primary.
He won the primary. It was Pete Buttigieg was the youngest guy in the primary, and they picked the oldest person. I don't know. Maybe is Bernie older? Is Bernie older? I don't know if Bernie's older than Joe.
But we have plenty of young folks to choose from. Yeah,
right.
And we will again if we have a 2028 election, we will again. I'm sure they'll pick an older person again. Because guess what? Older people vote at historic numbers.
Right. So
I ain't mad at them.
Yeah, who cares? Okay, but sell your book, and Republicans are probably buying, and they'll talk about it all day on Fox News. Meanwhile, what's going on with the real shit happening in the world today? That's what I want to know.